About 25% of Americans in 2022 delayed their retirement due to high inflation and losses in their retirement portfolios. So was 2022 the worst year to retire? This is a common question or a discussion topic that people in the FIRE community talk about. And when is the right time to retire early? When do I know if it's the right time to submit my resignation to my employer? Is it $1 million, $2 million, or $3 million? People on the FIRE journey often wonder what those $1 million will look like in 5, 10, or 20 years. Are they gonna be worth much, or do we need to adjust for inflation? The short answer is yes. You need to adjust your FIRE number based on the average annual inflation rate, and that's also gonna come from the calculation of your total annual expenses. And those of you watching this video right now are in your own financial situation. You may have pre-existing medical conditions that requires you to have more cash set aside or pay extra expenses for your insurance. You may have more kids than I do, which requires you to have higher expenses to pay for their tuitions or food. You may have just discovered a financial independence and retire early movement, and you're trying to figure out how to achieve your 50% savings rate. I started my YouTube channel because I want to document my Fat FIRE journey and share any lessons that I have learned. I'm also a financial coach who helps clients get out of debt and budget for their financial independence. And you can contact me by visiting firesession.com/coaching for a free 20-minute financial coaching session. And if you're a veteran, you get a complimentary 30-minute session because I'm a veteran too. My FIRE number has increased from $2.8 million to $3.7 million due to the high inflation we've been experiencing in 2021 and 2022. That's the number I would like to hit by the time I turn 45 years old, which is 9 years from now. But if I'm being completely honest with you, I could retire early with my original FIRE number at $2.8 million. I just increased it to adjust for inflation and my retirement lifestyle because I'm looking to travel all over the world when I retire early. What's really important for you and me on the FIRE journey is to make sure that our money is going to last from our early retirement age until the normal retirement age at 59.5 when we're eligible to withdraw earnings and interest from accounts like 401k, IRAs, TSPs, and other retirement accounts. So we have different types of retirees in the US. We have the baby boomer generation that relies heavily on Social Security retirement benefits. And roughly about 40% of retirees rely solely on Social Security income, which made them struggle in 2022 when inflation went sky high, right? Another type of retiree is people who have Social Security and some type of retirement investment account like 401k or IRA. But the bear market we experienced in 2022 has devastated their retirement accounts. So let's say in January 2022, a 62-year-old retiree with $1 million in his or her 401k invests 60% in the S&P 500 and 40% in bonds. Then that $600,000 in the S&P 500 has dropped by 16% to $504,000. The long-term bonds are also down this year by an average of 12%. So let's say this person is investing in some type of ETF or mutual fund that tracks the Bloomberg US Aggregate Bond Index. Then that $400,000 is down about 12% year to date, or $352,000. This is a rare year that both equities and bonds are down in the same year because they're supposed to work the opposite way. But that's not the case due to high inflation. So this retiree is looking at a hypothetical portfolio of $856,000 as of right now. And if this person makes a 4% withdrawal rate of $1 million, then that's $40,000 a year, right? But because the portfolio has dropped significantly to $856,000, this person's annual withdrawal rate has decreased to $34,240. And let me make sure I did the math right. Yep, I did. And assuming this person collects $18,000 a year in Social Security pension, which is the national average in 2022 for age 62, this person's retirement income has decreased from $58,000 to about $50,000 a year. And you can fact check my math in the comment section down below. So the best case scenario for this retiree was to withdraw 4% of the entire $1 million at $40,000 in January of this year and budget it throughout the year instead of withdrawing it every month. You see, the problem is that no one can really predict how the stock market is going to perform for the year, right? We could have seen another bull market run like from 2010 to 2021, and our mindset was so fixated on the bull market, and we're going to see another bull market year with 10%, 15%, or 18% increase. So it's really important for every person on the FIRE journey or someone close to reaching their retirement age to have an effective withdrawal strategy. You're essentially becoming more risk averse than risk tolerant. This is especially crucial for people on the lean FIRE journey who are not looking to save or invest more than $1 million to retire early. And no one knows for sure if the bear market will continue going into 2023. Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan are already predicting a recession in 2023 with a high unemployment rate. And we're seeing that right now with all the layoffs happening across the country. But history also shows that the portfolios of people who retire in down markets can recover fairly quickly. Again, this is based on historical data and not necessarily going to reflect what will happen going into 2023 or 2024. People who retired during the financial crisis in 2008 lost 38% of their equity portfolio and ended that year with $600,000. Yikes. But let's say these retirees continue to withdraw $40,000 a year, they would have about $1.66 million in their portfolio by the end of 2021. The key here is to not sell and leave the money where it is. And people have actually lost money by selling out their stocks and just sat on cash. Because if you look at the multi-year positive returns from 2009 to 2021, that's a 14.2% average annual return. And you can get this spreadsheet and my other financial independence resources for free by visiting firestrategy.com/contact. So deciding when to retire will depend on your complete financial picture. To some people, $1 million are not enough. To some people, $2 million are not enough. And if you're on the FIRE journey, you have to know the annual total essential expenses that you need to survive on. Mine is around $40,000 a year, counting my mortgage payments. So I could theoretically retire with $1.12 million and just living on $40,000 a year in my investment income. But let's say I want to spend $80,000 a year during my early retirement. That's $2.24 million, right? Do you see how I didn't multiply $80,000 by 25, but I multiplied it by 28 instead? Here's why. I'm going to use the same FIRE expenses at $80,000 a year. I'm going to multiply that by 25, and that'll give me $2 million invested in the S&P 500 or some equities. I'm also going to multiply $80,000 by 3, and that'll give me $240,000 saved in bonds, cash, or CDs. That extra 3 years is my own FIRE calculation, and not a lot of people actually add the extra 3 years. I do it because it gives me a security blanket for a bear market that could take 2 to 3 years to fully recover. And let me break this down further. Out of that $240,000, I'm gonna have cash set aside for home repairs, car repairs, or something that's unexpected and necessary. That's usually parked in my high yield savings account, so I'll just say $40,000 in cash with a 3% return. The remaining $200,000 will be used for the bear market years that could last for 2.5 years. And here's a little bit of a history lesson. Since 1928, the S&P 500 has experienced 22 bear markets, including 2022, which happens once every 5 years or so. The average length of a bear market is about 380 days, but the longest bear market was about 21 months in the 1970s with about 600 days. Will we see another bear market year in 2023? It's a possibility. So that $200,000 in bonds, CDs, or cash will be used for the bear market years while the S&P 500 in my equity portfolio tries to recover. What I don't want to do is withdraw any of my equity during the bear market, right? Withdrawing 4% of my portfolio while my index fund is down 16% would be more devastating, and it wouldn't make any sense for me to do that, right? And when the market starts to recover, and let's say in 2023, we see a bull market rally to a 15% return, then I could sell some of the equities in that portfolio to reallocate them to bonds, CDs, or cash. So if I spent $80,000 in bonds during 2022 and the S&P 500 makes a 15% return, then I could sell $160,000 so that I could put that money back into bonds and use the other $80,000 for my annual retirement expenses. But I probably wouldn't spend $80,000 during the bear market year. I would probably spend more like $50,000 to reduce my spending until I see a market recovery. And it's gonna be tough for people who are looking to retire in the coming years if inflation remains high and the portfolio continues to shrink. And some retirees will have to make a decision to either cut their spending to protect their nest eggs or continue to work to build their portfolios from $1 million to $1.5 million or from $2 million to $3 million. And I wouldn't be surprised if more people decide to delay their retirement if inflation continues to be an issue. So the bottom line is that you need to know how you want to allocate your assets during early retirement. During my FIRE journey, I am investing in 100% stocks and 0% bonds. This is not financial advice, it's just what I'm doing. When I reach my early retirement, I like to have my portfolio at 90% stocks and 10% bonds or cash. Preservation of capital is something I'll strongly consider when I reach my retirement age to make sure my money lasts throughout my lifetime. So, was 2022 a bad year to retire? If you're not fully prepared for future bear market years, then you're never gonna be ready to retire because there will be another bear market in the future. In the meantime, I'm gonna take advantage of the bear market and buy as many assets as I can. And if you wanna know more about how to calculate your FIRE number and invest in your early retirement, be sure to check out these two videos. So with that said, I appreciate you watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a good one.